Well, a good morning to you and a happy Wednesday. If you're like me, sometimes you have to pause and think about what day of the week it is. We've been in the holidays. We're back into the new year. So a happy new year to you as well. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist John Dawson. This is our morning weather update. And finally, we're beginning to see a little bit of blue popping in the skies. We've been so overcast all morning long. Really, just within the last 30 minutes to 45 minutes have I really noticed on our tower cams the arrival of those clearing skies. We're expecting those skies to continue to slowly kind of clear throughout the day today. And then by the time we get to this evening, I think it'll be mostly clear for sure. And that's going to help lead to a bit of a cool night overall. And speaking of night, we certainly had some rain around the area last night. We'll be able to kind of review that, talk a little bit about that as we go through the rest of our update here for you this morning. Let me start with temperatures though. High temperatures yesterday, stuck in the mid 50s. It was a very cloudy day yesterday and cool overall. We're going to be similar to that today, where I think we're going to be stuck in the 50s, but with that sunshine that's making its an appearance, it will feel a bit more comfortable overall. So again, these are high temperatures that we saw yesterday. The morning lows in the mid 40s, so we'll be able to cool down more than this for tonight because of those clear skies and the lack of all the clouds and the rain that we sort of had mixed in within our overnight last evening. So we made it down to 44 degrees in Huntsville last night, only 47 in the Sugar Land area, and 46 degrees in the downtown Houston area and Hobby. Current temperatures barely into the 50s for the majority of us. So again, we're going to be kind of stuck in the mid 50s, I think. A few of us, if you get the extra shot of sun with some lighter winds, you might bounce up to the upper 50s, but I think most of us will be in the mid 50s for those afternoon highs once we get a chance to kind of warm things up a little bit. So compare that to where we were yesterday, it's actually a bit warmer because of that sunshine. I think is the main difference, and the fact that we had all the clouds yesterday. We are a few degrees warmer, at least for most of us. A difference there being, of course, right along the coast where it's a bit cooler. They were warmer, our folks down in Matagorda and Brazoria County, as well as the folks in Galveston Island, just a little bit milder. And our winds have made a bit more of a turn to the north. Yesterday, they were from the northeast most of the day, and today we get them from the north, and because of the passage of that system that moved through, we'll be getting a little bit of drier air kind of getting pushed down with it, so it'll be a little bit more comfortable overall, not quite as humid. So if we look at our high temperatures that we're expecting for this week, you'll notice today is one of the cooler days that we're looking at because of that, again, kind of a weak front that moved through. We'll be closer to 60 degrees tomorrow. The rain returns on Friday, so that kind of messes with our temperatures a little bit. We're going to talk a lot about the rain here in a minute. 64 on Saturday, warming up as we get into the beginning of next week. This will be another day when we see some rain on Monday, and then we drop that back down as that next storm system sort of ushers in some cooler air. Pretty much exactly like what we're seeing across the area today. So we'll continue to see the skies clear throughout the day today. And tonight, with some lighter winds especially, we'll be able to drop down, I'm going to say about 40 degrees for the low. So if you're in a more rural area, especially further to the north, you're going to see 30s tonight. Most of us will avoid the 30s. And if you're right along the coast, of course, you're going to be a little bit milder because of the influences of the Gulf of Mexico. But around 40 or so for that cool overnight low tomorrow morning. More rain is on the way, as I've talked about. We're looking at the next storm system to arrive on Friday. We're still kind of tweaking the arrival time on that, but it looks to lean a little bit more towards earlier in the morning, but it will extend into the day. So unlike today when we got all the rain over with before sunrise, I do think we'll see some of the rain during the day on Friday. So here's that kind of profile that we were talking about with those temperatures. Notice we're going to try to bounce it up to about 55 degrees. give or take a little bit as we move through the day, and we'll have some clouds kind of coming and going. Here's all that storm system, that mess that moved through last night. It's now moving across the southeastern U.S. This storm system is sort of more or less going to ride right up the coast, and that's going to bring a shot of rain, even probably some frozen precipitation for those folks once it gets a little bit further to the north. But we're certainly done with that storm system, and now we look out for that next rain maker, which is currently more or less sitting on top of California at the moment. That system will continue to sort of march across the southwestern states, eventually getting into Texas early on Friday, and our impacts here in southeast Texas, again, are going to be Friday in the evening. So if we jump ahead to Friday and the Storm Prediction Center, at this point, not expecting severe weather. So this is a scenario like we had yesterday where this paler green represents thunderstorms, but not severe thunderstorms. Once you get into the threat levels, it's that darker green and then the yellows and the orange. You used to seeing that graphic from the Storm Prediction Center. This is a Futurecast product that basically goes from 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so you'll see that we're just moving that right across on Friday morning. It arrives right in time for the commute to work. We'll get it cleared out of there, though, by the time it's into the commute home. So already starting to plan ahead. Don't plan to pump the gas on Friday morning. Get that done on Thursday. You just want to get in your car and get where you need to go on Friday morning, because it's going to be a bit of a mess all around in the early hours. Radar clear right now. We're not looking for any more rain for today. In the next 5 days, though, here's what we're expecting. And as we've talked about, it's Friday when we're looking for that rain, maybe late Thursday night. That's why you've got just a little bit of rain popping in here on Thursday. That's at the very end of the day after sunset, sort of a situation. And then we're looking at, again, moving in that rain on Friday. Quick touch on the allergen levels. That cedar pollen is still extremely high. We've popped up just a little bit more on the grass, and we've moved the mold spores down just a little bit. So cedar is the issue if you're having any sort of allergy issues right now. Still partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. We're getting that cleared out. North winds at around 14 miles an hour. Dew point still in the 40s, which is relatively low for us. We're still adjusting, of course, the high temperature, but so far we were at 45 for that morning low. That's about where we expect to find it, but we're not going to get into the 60s. We're going to be cooler than usual for the high temperature. And just a quick touch on 2023, a reminder that it was a bit of an unusual year weather-wise, that we had the hottest summer that we have on record, and we even hit 109 twice in the month of August. Our lowest temperature that we recorded for the whole calendar year of 2023 was only 33 degrees, and that was in February. So we haven't had a freezing, we did not see a freezing temperature officially for the city of Houston during 2023. And then our rainfall ended up being below average. So here's that pattern that we were looking at. This is the storm system that hit us last night. That next storm system is on the way, but we're going to be dry till we get here. And when we talk about that rainfall forecast, we're cool and dry for today. And then as we move forward, progress into Friday, here's where we start adding that up. This is going to be adjusted. Don't get too focused on this, especially once we get into Monday. I think these numbers will be a bit higher. Monday's looking to be a little bit more aggressive than what we've seen with these other systems. So we're still looking at that light breeze out of the north. You see these upper level clouds trying to move in tonight, but I think they'll clear out in time to give us a cold evening overall for tonight and for tomorrow morning. And then really a pretty good looking day on Thursday. I don't think we're going to see those showers until the overnight hours. So I still think Thursday's sort of the best day that I've got to talk about for a while, with temperatures at 60s and 40s. Those are pretty nice, at least for Houston. We are going to have mostly clear skies on Sunday, but we will warm up a little bit more with those lower 40s in the morning and those upper 60s in the afternoon. So let me back out of the way, give you a chance to look at the big picture. As I mentioned, another storm system on Monday. At this point, it does look like those are going to be some stronger storms on Monday. We'll continue to keep an eye on those. And then we clear that out once we get into Tuesday. And we'll have, again, sort of a front that moves through, cools our temperatures in the afternoon for sure, and then also clears our skies once again. So the next storm system that we're talking about, Friday morning, plan accordingly. In the meantime, enjoy the beginning of 2024, and we'll see you here at noon with our news and weather update.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. As you can see, the podium is set up here for that State Department briefing, where there's going to be a lot to talk about here between that attack that happened in Iran, the assassination that occurred just yesterday over in Lebanon, and a lot of different topics, including the Israel-Hamas war. So we'll bring that to you as it does get underway. In the meantime, I do want to head over to New Hampshire. That is where we have presidential hopeful Nikki Haley. We brought you some of the comments from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis earlier on today at his town hall. And now we have Nikki Haley holding an event. So let's take you out there to New Hampshire.
China. China has been preparing for war with us for years, and that's not an exaggeration. They're already here. They've already infiltrated our country. They bought 400,000 acres of U.S. soil, most recently near Grand Forks Air Force Base, where our most sensitive drone technology is. They bought our largest pork producer in the country, in Iowa. They spend millions of dollars putting them in our universities, stealing our research, spreading Chinese propaganda. Everybody got upset about the Chinese spy balloon, right? Rightfully so. China said it was a weather balloon. Biden went along with that, so we think. But now we know the Chinese spy balloon had access to a U.S. internet company and took all the surveillance and sent it to China. Now, South Carolina has beautiful beaches. That is not why that Chinese spy balloon went over South Carolina. We are a heavy golf courses, yes, come golf in South Carolina, but we're a heavy military state. So yes, we were upset about the Chinese spy balloon, but what about the fact that 90% of our law enforcement drones in this country are Chinese? So think about all the mini surveillance happening. They've put Chinese police stations throughout our country. There's a Chinese spy base off our shores in Cuba. There's technologies that China uses to build up their military that threatens America, and Biden approved 70% of those last year. Trump approved even more than that. And we've lost more Americans